Pains. We're joined by the chairman of the American Conservative Union, Matt Schlapp, co-host of The Five, contributor to The Hill, Juan Williams. Great to have you both with us. And let me start with you, Matt. It looked to me as though Mr. Trump has found focus, and he always had energy. What did you make of the speech?
I think it's long overdue. You know, he announced the fact that he would give this speech before the terrible tragedy in Orlando, and I think it is exactly what Republicans want to hear. I mean, Lou, here's the facts is every day that Donald Trump talks about our economic security, our national security, and the complete failure of the Clintons in government and the fact that she's under FBI investigation is a day that he's going to be winning on the campaign trail. Every day he's not talking about those three things, he's going to be off message, he's going to be losing.
Do you agree, Juan?
I think he had a good day. What's interesting to me is this is the week when you saw Corey Lewandowski, who is more of the bulldog, the pit bull, if you will, in the campaign structure, pushed out. Paul Manafort, more of the Washington, D.C. political establishment, take power in terms of running the Trump operation. And the Trump family, the daughter, the son, had a hand in forcing out Lewandowski. Today, Trump is on the teleprompter. He's stuck to the script. And I think that's why you see the positive response, that he's more presidential. Now, Matt just said this is what Republicans...
So you do acknowledge he's coming across far more presidential.
Today.
Quote, unquote.
Today.
Yeah.
And, as Matt just said, this is the speech that Republicans wanted to hear. I don't know, Lou, if this goes to the point where he's actually speaking to independents and even conservative Democrats that he needs to flip some of those Midwestern states.
I thought, one, he was downright aspirational in that speech, talking about bringing the slogan, Make America Great, as he has for a number of weeks now, to include everyone. He was talking about making this country work for everyone. He reached out to Bernie Sanders supporters. Yeah. I saw him, Matt, I think, reaching out with, and I would guess with some great success in getting the attention of those who did support Sanders. At least we were told by the polls, at least half of them.
Right. Yeah, no, and you've got promising state polls that are coming out. I would take issue a bit with what Juan said. I think look, this is a unconventional presidential campaign, to say the least. But I think all the drama of the personalities inside the campaign are not as important as the fact that when Donald Trump talks about our economic insecurity, over the fact that our economic prospects for those who are just starting out with trying to look for a job out of school, they're terrible. And he really does connect. Look, Juan, he's connecting to Republicans, to conservatives, to unemployed liberals, to moderates, to just plain old Americans who look at America, its role in the economy nationally, and the fact that their kids and their grandkids just can't get the wages and the jobs that they need. He is connecting on that big time, and it could be one of the top two issues in this race.
Well, you know, Matt, I think one of the big points here, and Lou touched on it earlier, was his outreach to Sanders supporters. Sanders was on, I think, C-SPAN today and basically said, you know, he knows now he's not the nominee. He also said, Trump's not going to get my backers because of his anti-worker, bigoted comments. And so I don't see that there was a substance here in terms of what Trump had to offer about how he's going to deliver for just the people you're talking about, young people struggling for work or someone who feels like the economic recovery has been just stuck in slow gear.
Can I say something here, Matt, before
sure.
you respond to Juan? It is anti-worker. This is the first Republican presidential nominee in our lifetimes who's mentioned the middle class, who has mentioned a working man and woman in this country and their families, and talked about how he is going to reach out to all of them. He's talking about stimulating small business. He's not talking about K Street, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Business Roundtable. Do you disagree with that, Matt?
No, I don't disagree with that at all. Matter of fact, I think we have a certain economic arrogance, not only in the Republican Party, but just with a lot of the leaders in both parties, where we can just shed jobs and we can shed sectors, and because America's so big that we need to have these security relations around the globe, and we're okay with the cheating and the deck being stacked against the American worker in sector. And I think what Donald Trump is saying is, hey, look, America can't afford to be arrogant like that anymore. We just can't shed these jobs because we don't have the jobs and the economic activity to shed. And I think he's telling the rest of the world, he's putting them on notice.
Well, Matt, this is what Hillary Clinton said in her speech. She said, this guy, this guy's making false promises. You can't turn back the clock on globalization, on trade, and think that America is not going to become isolated, that it's not going to cost us jobs.
This is a false. No, Juan, this is false. The fact is this. Hillary Clinton is more of the same. And what Donald Trump is saying is that there's going to be a whole new way of approaching these things. And here's what the approach is going to be. If we're going to have free trade, it means that both markets, the Asian market that we're talking about with this big trade deal and the American market, they will be more free when his deals are done. If you look at many of these deals,
well,
the markets actually aren't more free.
Tell me how, Matt, because there is no substance. When you see the Trump economic plan analyzed, people say it's going to drive up the debt and drive up unemployment and fewer jobs for Americans.
Can I tell you, every one of those people saying that, Juan, no matter what their the degrees are, the initials behind their names, or they're working for a corporation, a multinational corporation. They're working for a university that is receiving grants from that corporation. They are in the pockets of it. It's one of the great problems we've got. Today Trump said we're talking about rigged elections. We're talking about a rigged system. He was very candid about having to break these orthodoxies and to confront what is good for America, good for Americans, putting Americans first. That rhetoric, Bernie Sanders, if he had come up with such a title for his rhetoric, he might have been able to win the nomination. Yeah, I really believe that.
Yeah, I agree. I like what you're saying, and I like the fact that Trump raises the middle class.
To Bernie Sanders.
But where is the actual you don't care about the policy, Lou. You don't want to say another politician just making promises.
Yeah, we haven't gotten used to that.
Well, I'm saying, but so why do we want another one?
Hold on, let's go through these. Let's go through these policies.
Well, I mean, very quickly, Matt, if you will.
Okay, the fact is that he's being very specific that we've shed all these coal jobs because of this ridiculous quixotic search for global warming policy. The fact is, mandating a $15 minimum wage will kill the fast food industry and some of these other industries where young Americans and new Americans get their first job. All of these regulations are being spewed forth, whether it's in the financial sector or these other sectors. It's killing jobs, Juan.
Okay,
and we've got to stop it.
So, Matt, he's going to cut taxes, and guess who gets? He talks about the middle class, but guess who gets the big tax cuts? The very rich. And he doesn't talk about how he's going to make that up in terms of something Lou cares deeply about, the growing deficit in this country. So that's why I say I don't think it's realistic. He has not put the gears in place to back up the rhetoric.
I think you're quite right. He hasn't put the policies into effect. But that's not what we expect of a candidate. What we expect of a candidate is a vision, and he is starting to draw that in, I think, brighter, clearer terms with every speech that he makes. Matt Schlapp, Juan Williams, thank you both for being here. And by the way, he's a disruptor, Juan. He's here to raise a lot of hell, too. We're coming.